is a solitary mountain dwelling conducive to practice. In back of it are massive rocks, and in front of it a mountain surrounded by a garland of snow peaks. In all directions clouds of mist gather, passing beneath the arches of 5-colored rainbows. In that place are many different kinds of trees, their branches sway like offering goddesses swaying as they dance. There are many kinds of wild flowers that, like seductive maidens, display smiling faces. There are streams murmuring, "I am pure, pure, drink here, drink here." Juniper trees and wild rhododendrons fill the air with their fragrance. Cuckoos, lapping thrushes, and other sweet-voiced songbirds soar freely. I stayed there in retreat for several months, and my meditation progressed more than in any other solitary place. One day I sang this song in praise of the place. I bowed down to the Guru, who in this sacred place opened the door to hundreds of samadhis, and saw wondrous visions. Bless me and others like me to remain in mountain solitudes where contemplation blossoms. Wondrous, behind our mountain rocks, solid and beautiful, snow ornaments the summits. Of the amazing mountains in front, in all directions, mist gathers and rainbows appear. In this wondrous sacred place, the very sounds of rivulets seem to say, swiftly, quickly, "Like this goes the life of man." Practice meditation without interruption, flowing on continuously day and night. Sweetly murmuring, they seem to say, when you meditate upon the Yidam deity, this is how you should recite the void sound of mantras. The trees, when their branches wave in all directions, seem to say, "Come to the mountain, you fortunate ones with good karma." When the branches are still, they seem to say, when meditating, "Remain still in one place as we do." The many flowers demonstrate to all, this is how your meditation experiences should bloom. And when autumn comes, the flowers show their transience, to remind one of impermanence and death, like a fan that waves back and forth. The cool breeze tempers the ardor of the sun. The fresh winds as well bring many fragrances. You, hermit, have no incense. Without fixation, the wind goes its way. Like me, have no attachment to anything. Surrounding me closely, singing sweetly, birds large and small dispel my loneliness as if saying, "You don't need to hoard. Food and drink are easy to find." And flying on from treetop to treetop, they say, to eat whatever comes your way is the source of happiness. Without clinging to anything, go on your way. A variety of flowers, in the full bloom of their youth, sway like seductive maidens. Young bees come humming their song and embrace the blossoms. The bees' wings thrum and seem to say, when staying in solitude, sing like this. To an intricate melody they say, wondrous is the yogin who dwells in sacred places. Having circled around me many times, they touch my robe for blessing, and flying off without a backward glance, they say, do not be fascinated even by those who seem the most desirable of all. Marvelous, in this sublime, secluded place of retreat, whatever appears points out the teachings. Like a celestial forest brought to earth, the wilderness shelters all kinds of natural beauty. In this remote and wondrous forest, outside the nurturing sun, my illusory body is content. Within primordial clarity, my mind is content. In between I sing songs, my voice is content. If you found out about the complete contentment of my body's speech and mind, even the king of Nepal himself might feel envious and restless, let alone anyone else. Practitioners who roam the villages instead of staying in such a retreat place. What are you doing? This I proclaim everywhere. May fortunate beings with good karma understand. Thus one day I spontaneously sang this song. The Life of Shabkar, the autobiography of a Tibetan yogin, translated by Mathieu Riquet. Find the link on the show notes, as always, at podcast.compassionaterecovery.us. You can find all the back episodes, various things that we talk about on the show, topics that we go through, related downloadable PDFs and things you can read on the site. There's a guest instructor link. I've added a couple of people in there who I love and appreciate and want to share their wisdoms with you. Coming up, I'll be having some segments with Venerable Robina Courtin on the topics that we're talking about on the show regarding things such as the nature of suffering, attachment, ignorance, aversion, application of the Buddhist teachings to our deepest wounds, which are rooted in attachment, of which addiction is attachment gone wild. This is Darren Littlejohn. Welcome to the 12-Step Buddhist Podcast, episode 85. How to take refuge in recovery, refuge in the Dharma. Well, I've been on, it occurred to me this morning, I think 5 weeks of retreat, or going into 6, on a particular teaching passed down through the Dharma, or dream lineage, as is done at times in Tibetan systems. Mind treasures. This is something very foreign and strange. You won't hear too much about this in, say, a refuge recovery meeting, or definitely not a 12-step meeting. You wouldn't want to hear too much about it in any meeting. Compassionate recovery doesn't really have meetings. It's a support guide. But you can have meetings. You can use it for meetings, of course. It's a very long ritual practice, and it's taken me many attempts, different retreats. You have to climb quite a mountain sometimes to learn something. I don't know, for me at least. Maybe I'm not that bright. Recently, in the past couple of years, some things have come together for me after things almost couldn't have fallen any further apart on multiple. Like my life it's like you're in a speedboat and you're hitting the waves, and the waves keep getting bigger, and you're going chunk, chunk, and it's like crisis after crisis, trauma after trauma, in adulthood, in sobriety, 17, 18, 19. Well, here I am now, after 25 years of sobriety. I don't have addictive relationships with anyone or anything, except really the desire to transcend suffering and to do the practices, the desire to transcend myself and my ego, and to really utilize my opportunity, my situation as an opportunity, as if I were that type of retreatant or yogin that's that serious to go to the place of solitude. Of course, there are more ideal places, and I think no matter how customized you can make your place, there'd always be a problem. However, I can see into space for quite a ways, and I have the ability to breathe fresh air and to not be bothered. So I really devoted myself to following retreats that really manifest and blossom the explanations and different aspects of teaching and learning that I've sort of accumulated and acquired over the decade and a half plus that I've been involved in this system. And everything kind of comes together, and it kind of comes to a certain kind of clarity. Instead of trying to do along this type of Vajrayana practice where you're using bells and you're singing melodies and the words are all translated in several different types of meaning, which are not conventional meaning, they're more Dharma meaning. If you're doing this type of practice, you are taking refuge. But it's very complex, and it's taken a long time. So I feel like somehow I'm close enough to feel integrated with the practice such that I really want to learn it, and it's really complicated and has many stages and phases, but this is really a practice which is designed to enable and sustain and heal any particular type of illness or hindrance to the vital life force, any type of obstacles. So, I can tell you I need that. I need that on the mental level, suffering with an A score 9+, bipolar not otherwise specified, lifetime polysubstance abuse in remission, 25 plus years. There's more to add to that. They used to mock us in AA, well, you're an alcoholic and I'm just an alcoholic. Well, you're a simpleton, dumbass. There's not just one thing. It's not just one pain and not just one Band-Aid or one solution, one method, one system, one cause. There's a lot of complicated, interrelated, interdependent activities. But I understand the physical pain, my teeth exploding, my face exploding as my teeth. I've had those blasts a few times in the past couple of years. I've had some teeth removed. Could use some healing there. Could use some radiant light energy coming from the core of my being. Now, these practices don't come from the weekend warrior workshop. These come from a long lineage, and it's not so easy to find in our culture, but you can find Tibetan masters. I'm just saying, I've written about this in different places. This is where I'm at. My check-in with you, if you're listening to me, this is what I've been doing, really working on these energy practices where, praying and receiving blessings and trying to line up the energies that are blocked for various reasons, whatever the cause is. And then at the same time, I'm binged out. I am binged. Guys, listen, people, okay. I just lied to you. I've realized I just lied to you because now I have to come clean. I don't know if Mike and Ike's are really a problem. I think I can stop whenever I want, but, I got tired of buying one box. Because, am I an addict because I have a 5-pound Tupperware with the natural flavors? And see, the natural flavor ones aren't that good. So I managed my addiction by not getting that in the berry. If they're berry, I'm going to put that 5 pounds next to me. Now, see, I know better than that. So I try to enjoy without attachment, each one at a time. And then I wind up eating quite a few of them. So I don't know, not too much problem in my life because of it. Get a bellyache, I suppose. But I really am addicted. I really am in addiction. I want to come clean. I am not in sobriety when it comes to the Netflix show New Amsterdam. I wasn't even willing to look at the stupid thing. I avoided it for I don't know how long. But I think I ran out of shows, or for some reason I was interested. I don't know. It caught my attention. And I've been binging. I guess I've been binging it the whole time I've been on this retreat, learning this practice. It's something that takes days and days. So I've got 14 days worth of videos of an hour and a half each, words to translate, meaning to understand, melodies to know, breath practices for healing the life force, and then to be able to help others. I've been a healer for a long time. Just continue on that path. If you're ill, and I know you, it doesn't matter too much if I don't know you, but if we're connected, I do work with people best I can. So what's any of that got to do with the Dharma? What we've been talking about is Dharma. So the Dharma, when I was first in college, and I have this text somewhere from this class from Cal State Long Beach in Buddhism, and the text that we used showed a bunch of different translations of Dharma, Indian, Chinese. There were 72 Dharmas, I think, in the little d Dharmas, which are sort of phenomena. And there were big D Dharmas, and I've always had that in mind, that there's not just the Dharma, just like there isn't just the one, church. Christian church had, in my other class at the time in college was, history of Christianity, and then 300 plus versions of Christianity, major shifts, Luther, the Inquisition. there's a lot, but everyone will convince you that their Dharma should be your Dharma. Now, that's not to say that we have to find such an individualized Dharma that we're just in our own stupidity and fantasy world. If you really just want to be born and dropped on a rock somewhere and go, okay, I'm the Life of Shabkar, I'm going to sit there and meditate, I'm a yogi. Okay, well, if you have that capacity and you have attainments and realizations and siddhis and samadhis, great. And the rest of us normal people, to go through our trials and tribulations, why reinvent the Dharma wheel? The wheel of Dharma has turned several times in this eon. No need to reinvent it. We can study the systems. If we understand Dharma, in one of the hundreds of ways you can look at, I was looking at a review or kind of an overview from Tricycle. They do a couple of comparisons. It might be interesting for you to look at that, but I feel that my understanding of Dharma I'm going to share with you. So, masters, Buddhas, of which, I kept saying, quit thinking about, well, the Buddha said, sutra people, Vipassana people, I don't know, maybe you like to say a lot of, the Buddha said, I only listen to what the Buddha said. And you're missing something. If your Buddha's that limited, then chuck it. bro. Chuck it. Buddhas are limitless. Just read stuff, listen to stuff, go deeper, look it up, buy some books, listen to some masters, not some chuckleheads, right? Okay, so back to my point. As we've been discussing, there must be a Buddha, a doctor, to take refuge, has the medicine. And the Dharma is the medicine. The Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the three jewels. You hear these terms all over the place. I take a refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. I've sung those melodies here on previous episodes. We can do more of that. I think I've got a better mic. Maybe my voice is less terrible. I don't know. Kind of doesn't matter. It's the energy that we have. When we take a refuge in the Dharma, what's the Dharma? Is it your bullshit psycho cult leader teacher? These things you got to understand. You got to find somehow in your heart to find the Dharma, and don't make it some washed over, core power yoga bullshit. You know what I mean? Oh, find your Dharma. Your Dharma is your truth. Well, in a way, you got to understand. It's not that you come up with an individualized thing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. But what you have to do is kind of understand the teachings, apply them to your life, integrate them into your steps, your footsteps, your sleepy time, your dream yoga, your actions of your body, the words in your speech, the energy of your breath, your consciousness of your breath, your awareness of form, formlessness, compounded phenomena, impermanence, suffering, the nature of suffering, the truth of suffering, the pervasiveness of suffering. This is Dharma. These are points of explanation. These are instructions. So Dharma, here, as we use it, are instructions from enlightened masters, not some bullshit. And all I can tell you about that is a lot of people can get sucked into a lot of bullshit. The show's got more pro everything. It covers addiction, all kinds of different gender issues, every type of cancer, heart. You see the impermanence and suffering of, and just mortality, man. Just mortality, okay? Mortality. You just see the impermanence, and I'm watching all this while I'm doing long life practice, which in Tibetan Buddhism, long life practice is basically connecting to the lineage in this way. This is Dharma that's transmitted through masters who have achieved. And what have they achieved? You can use the word enlightenment. You can say a bunch of, you can label that. A lot of people want to co-opt words. You have to find in your heart of heart centers, and not some bullshit, not some fantasy. You got to kind of find it through within yourself, your own Buddha nature. Like, what's real Dharma? And yes, it can show up in any way, any time, any moment. In fact, all Dharmas, all phenomena are Dharmas. All phenomena are wisdom seals, wisdom symbols. In some ways, some avenues of explanation, some of the categories and systems, organized methodologies of consciousness, people. These Buddhas, these Mahasiddhas go into caves. They go into states. I'm not talking about some watered down, westernized, corporatized nonsense, oversimplified, diluted. I'm talking about Dharma from lineage, from the lineage holders, from masters, who have attained realizations. And I know you can go to a master and be like, oh my God, all is bliss, I'm with an enlightened master. But, a puppy may think I'm his enlightened master. I'm not. I'm a piece of shit human. I'm going to do my best to take care of the animal, but I fail. I'm no enlightened being. So it's relative. You have to understand. In your heart of hearts, you have to know. When I was a young boy, I opened Dharma books, and I knew in my heart. Not even tripping. I knew I had that taste. I knew there was something. And I remember 2005, 2006, I'd been back into Zen some more years, and then working with jazz and understanding, fluidity and the flow and Zen, and lighting incense and having a Buddha statue and reading some of the Dhammapada, looking further, finding more teachers, finding more teachings, doing more practice, having more experiences. My life hit a lot of really tragic bumps, and I landed in a situation I didn't want to be in, and I've had to work with the teachings and the system that's been in my lap the whole time. All the things that I've been learning are directly applicable to the root core of my problem. the Dharma has to be something good that's going to benefit, but not just benefit me in a Hinayana way, but benefit all beings in a Mahayana way, you see. I'm not taking this just for my own clutching and grasping. I'm taking this teaching for the benefit of all beings. I and all beings are enlightened from the beginning. Knowing that, I take refuge. I and all beings take refuge. I and all beings take refuge in the Buddha. I and all beings take refuge in the Dharma. That's the medicine. The Buddha's the PhD, postdoc, triple grad, Einstein, multi-generational, multi-dimensional, omniscient, all-knowing wisdom, all-pervasive wisdom, all transformation, all 5 Buddha families, the Padma family, the Vajra family, the Ratna family, the Karma family, the Buddha family. 5 elements, 5 families, 5 passions, 5 wisdoms. And this is Dharma, not some bullshit. Now you might say, well, Darren Little John, it's your bullshit. And of course you're right. You don't have to listen. I'm not selling you something. I'd love you to buy my book, Compassionate Recovery, over at Amazon. Pick it up. Call Barnes & Noble. Go to Powell's. Get it anywhere you can. Shout out to the UK. Shout out to listeners in the UK. I'm taking refuge in the Buddha, the doc, the Refuge Field, y'all. So just imagining before you everybody you've ever known, everybody who's close to you, everybody who's ever been close to you, past and present, people who've passed, animals, lovers, enemies, from this life. And if you have an experience of past, an understanding of karmic consciousness passing on, candle like another candle, and then that candle lights another candle, as Buddha said. The Mahasiddhas go into the cave, and we have their realizations to work with to help us attain their realizations. That's why they're there, because they did it for the benefit of all beings. They didn't do it just for their own grasping. Does this make sense? So you can call on them and say, hey, Samaya Jajaja, kick it down. Kick it down. All honor, respect. I'm open. No ego. I'm just saying. Kick it down. I'm calling you out because when you did your practice, you made the commitment for all beings. I'm an all being. I qualify in the category. And I'm serious about my practice, and I'm asking for your help. I'm calling out. This could be a prayer if you want to do refuge in an object. So how do we take a refuge in the Dharma as an object? Well, I can listen to teachings. I can have a sacred book, a sacred statue, a stupa, sacred text, create an altar, put it up high, put palms to forehead, bow forward. This here, I'm here. Buddha's there, image of Buddha's there. Light incense, beautiful lights, Christmas lights, multicolored light, precious gems, stones, beautiful art, things that smell good, look good. All compounded phenomena offered to the Buddhas. It's an object. I'm saying, hey, Buddhas, you're all enlightened. I'm a piece of shit. Here's some stuff. I know it's garbage, but it's what we got here on earth. I know within my body I can't offer that much, but mentally I have no limits what I could offer. I'm just offering everything that you might want, all Buddhas. And, when we do the Chud practice, we're offering everything anybody might want, just like the 9th step AA amends, Hey, how can I make it right? How do you think I can make it right? I fucked you. How can I make it right? What do you think? You tell me. Not, I've decided this is how I'm making it right for you. No. So you're saying in your Chid practice, everybody who I've ever fucked in any way, in any capacity, in any life, anywhere, anytime, everybody that I owe that debt to, come get a piece. Come get a piece. Come get it how you want it. Let me whip it up for you. Souffle, stir fry. You want a chunk of liver? You want my toes? You want my memories? You want my thoughts? You want my dreams? I'm not attached to anything, bitch. But you say it with respect. I'm just saying you got to give no fucks. As a gangsta Dharma yogi practitioner, let go of all attachments. Just pimp it out. Like you really seriously can walk away from the hottest dakinis or, say, virgins dancing in front of you or whatever it is that's your dope. Can I shut off New Amsterdam? Well, apparently not before 3 a.m. So goes my retreat strategy, but I'm putting 2 hours a day, and as soon as I get up, that was supposed to be 6:30, but then daylight savings kicked me over. Now I'm waking up, I'm like, it's 8:30. I'm not in that fresh. You got to wake up before your REM is over and get your mind clear, and preferably before dark. I'm a night person. I usually go to bed late. But I'm really trying to get my mind state into the energy connected with the rhythms of the earth and the diurnal cycle, so that my energy is coordinated with the energy that I live in, the domain that I live in, instead of going against the grain, going with the grain. See? But not as a follower, not laying down, but just not opposing, and being in the flow, being in the Tai Chi, being in the Aikido, being in the Feng Shui. So you can say, yeah, this is my Dharma, this is my yoga teacher is my Dharma, or my this or my that, I'll tell you my dogs are my Dharma, but I'm specifically talking about real teachings and real lineages from real masters who have obtained real realizations, y'all. Find that shit. Lock it down. Commit to it. Back in, I don't know, mid-90s, Dallas, Zen Master Ruben Habito, over there, Southern Methodist University, Dallas, Texas. He said, if this Zen is another notch in your spiritual tool belt, get out. Peace. It's been swell. You're not going to get nothing from this. It's got to be the last house on the block. And you really have to come to recovery like that. So we're uniquely predisposed to come to Dharma like that, but I don't want you to fall into some stupid trap and follow some cultish personality, bullshit guru, money-hungering people who make marketing email funnel systems out of stuff that sounds good from different systems. And they, L. Ron Hubbard did all that. You come up with Dianetics based on a bunch of other things, and you weave it together in some stupid science fiction story. The guy was probably really high on LSD at the time, most people think. I fucking wrote this book and people created a goddamn religion out of this shit. It's fucking whack, but hey, you want to pay money and follow it, go ahead. I'm talking about Dharma. I'm not going to tell you this guru or that guru. I can tell you that if you think it's your monk, okay, if you think there's only one Buddha, one word, one teaching, one time, one way, one method, one aspect you're missing, that Buddhas manifest in all directions at all times, in every moment of time, in every molecule of space. And Buddhists manifest in the, say, 10 directions. But we always have north, south, east, and west in the mandala, just Joseph Campbell, Basic 101. So I just want you to find real Dharma, real truth, which taps into the vital core essence of your being. And you'll know it, because you're just going to know it in the way. I can't tell you the symptoms of you or signs of you knowing it, but you're going to know it. Things will be clear that, hey, this is really... But you got to check and make sure you're not being a cuckoo, going down some wacky conspiracy funnel. Got to check your mental health. Check with other people. And really, you can start with some books, but if you need some help, that's why I've got the guest instructor thing. You can go look on there, look for Igor. You're going to get Rabina on there. You can look for her stuff. This is what I'm trying to do, what I've always tried to do, is pass things on to you. Get a copy of Compassionate Recovery. Get a copy of the 12-Step Buddhist. Get one for yourself. Get one for a friend. So as an object of refuge, we're integrating the Dharma. We can start with an object and we can bring it in with our breath. We can bring it into how we eat, how we taste, how the tongue touches the roof of the mouth before we speak, that thought, how we notice the impulse coming and passing before we engage in something that could be harmful to ourselves or others. Presence, mindfulness, self-compassion. Trying to turn our lemons into lemonade, people. This is the Vajrayana. It's a transformational system. Incorporates all the principles of Sutra. Okay, people. I care about you. Hit me up if you got questions. info@compassionaterecovery.us. I'll see you again next week. Fridays. On time. Until then, peace out and namaste.